Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us, Nigeria Now, on Equa Television International, where we beam our light on issues that are burning in Nigeria, issues of concern to the masses, how governance is being done, how policies are being dished out, and how they are being implemented. And then, you know, how we do it. We're live on Facebook and YouTube, so just do well, connect with us. Let's hear how you feel concerning what is happening in your country, whether you're home or abroad. Let's talk together and see how we'll prefer solution. Let's take truth to the government, like my colleague will always say. To join me is Joyce Jakada. Good afternoon, Joyce.
Pleasant afternoon to you, Sambo Solomon. It feels good to be here.
Yeah, like always, you know, but sometimes, you know, the issues before us doesn't make us to feel good as Nigerians, but nevertheless, we just have to do our work. We just have to ask questions what Nigerians are asking, and then, you know, relate with the government and hear from their own part how they are governing, what are their policies and how they are implementing.
You know, I've always maintained that for us to develop and grow as a nation, we must speak truth to power. And we've seen situations where a lot of people hide under sycophancy to just be praising government even when things are wrong. When I said I'm happy to be here because it's another opportunity to speak truth to power. It's another opportunity to relate concerns of Nigerians to the government and to the proper authority. And we must continue that, whether as things go bad, we talk about it. As things go good, we applaud the government, so that we can also, as the fourth estate of the realm, keep the government in check while we take the issues, the burning issues, things that affect Nigerians to the government as well.
Well, talking about government, talking about Nigeria, Nigeria is being splitted, you know, into 6. We have 6 geopolitical zones, you know, for easy governance, and then you can. You will agree with me that these 6 geopolitical zones have their own separate challenges. You know, in the Northeast, we had the issue of Boko Haram that has been deviling, I think, since 2012. You know, till now, we still have the split, you know, some pockets of the Boko Haram. You talked about bandit when you talk about the Northwest. You talk about rustling, the middle belt. You talk about the issue of farmer headers clash, you know, kidnapping inclusive. You talk about the Southeast is the issue of IPOP, you know, which has been there, you know, for long, and then up to now the government are still battling back and forth with the issue of the IPOP. You know, some are saying allow us to go, some are saying now we just want our leader Nnamdi Kanu, and then today you hear that everything is calm. Tomorrow the same agitation is coming, like we want to go, we want our leader, and that is what is happening. And because of that, you know, some people, you know, hijack the process that they are let's say putting more hardship based on what is happening, apart from what is happening generally in the country. You see, they have their own peculiar hardship in their own area. Beside the issue of agitation, you know, we want our leader, we want to go because we feel our zone is not being treated well, is not being carried along. We are just pushed aside. You know, they are just using us as tool, you know, in building the nation. So, and then the group are now forcing the issue of sit at home. We've been hearing the issue of sit at home, you know, ever since, you know, this issue started. And then the whole thing, like, is not getting to an end, as it seems.
Sambo Solomon, I'll tell you that I don't really envy this administration, but because we have hope, we are optimistic of a better Nigeria. That is why we always talk about and the right thing to be done. I will prefer solutions when things are going wrong. This administration of Bola Ahmed Tinubu came at a time where Nigeria is faced with a lot of issues. Nigeria is more divided than ever before. I like the fact that you highlighted all of the challenges coming from the 6th geopolitical zone. In fact, when you come to the north in general, is the issue of banditry, kidnapping, issue of people being killed in their farmlands. You have issues of Boko Haram and all of that. You come to the south, there's agitation for successionists, and when you come to the middle belt, it's always the issues of people being attacked in their ancestral land, people being killed, farmlands destroyed, and all of that. And this administration came at a time where more than half of our population are in poverty, living in poverty. This administration came at a time where the middle class is no longer in existence. It's either you're rich or you're poor, because corruption has eaten deep into the fabrics of this land. This administration came in at a point where over 40% of our population are unemployed. These are people that have gone to school, people that have the skill, people that are experienced, people that can actually do this work, but yet the opportunity is not there. This administration came at a time where over 20 million children are out of school, even with the different schemes that the previous administration have introduced, school feeding programs and all of that, that ended up like in some few individuals' pocket, because we've seen instances where how can you have 20 million out of school children, yet you have a scheme like that. It came at a point where the issue of sit at home is no longer news, because the Southeast, this is what they experience like every Monday. It is observed as sit at home, because these people are agitating. We want a nation of our own. We want the Biafra. We want all of these. And this has led to the killing, to the death of so many people. We've seen instances where there were clash between security agencies and even this IPOB. There are instances where government will tell you, no, go out, go for your normal businesses. And without government security, these people go out and they are killed. They are attacked and all of that. And just yesterday, we saw how that Enugu in the southeast, like the peaceful atmosphere of that state was disrupted by protests by some traders in the Ogbeta market. And this protest was peaceful before it turned violent in Enugu, and it resorted to the death of like one person. And then traders in that Ogbete market protest sealing of their shops by the Enugu state government for complying with IPOB sit at home. Like I said earlier on, we've asked these people over time to go out there, yet there are no security. We've seen that in other southeast states, and at the end of the day, some of them are being attacked, some of them are being killed, some of them are being taken away and all of that. So even though that for some time the Enugu state government have showed commitment to end the sit at home, and no wonder, even as at the day that the shops were sealed, there were people that were out there in the market, their shops were open, but just some of the people that did not open their shops were sealed. The SSG actually talked about the state government's commitment to end the sit at home, so that people can go ahead with their normal businesses, with their normal lifestyle. In fact, he tagged it as unlawful, because there's nowhere in the constitution as Nigeria that say, oh, by Monday, your right to movement, your freedom to go association and all of that should be deprived. There's no provision for that. And we've seen how that over time, most of the states in the southeast have lost lot of revenue to this sit at home. Anambra, the others, Imo, and the other states have lost a lot when it comes to sit at home. And this has resulted to so many people calling on the federal government to intervene to bring an end to this. These people have been bringing to bear their own demand, release Nnamdi Kanu, will do this counter allegation, counter attacks, and all of that is what we keep seeing at the detriment of who? The common man. What we are saying, okay, can the law be followed so that we can have peace and an end to this? We've seen how that the government say, oh, we are going to bring an end, we are going to be, but at the end of the day, it's always the common man that is being affected. And so just yesterday, we saw how that the sit at home led to sealing of shops of some people. And just while these traders came out to peacefully protest, at the point where the security, the police came to disperse them, it turned violent because they started burning. Some of them were trying to unseal their shops, open their shops. We saw on the pictures how some blood was spilled and all of that. But we don't have to get to that point. I've always talked about proactive measures. In Nigeria, more like it's all of this gangsterism that we understand. We saw that early this week during the case of the suspended CBN governor, talking about Godwin Emefiele, even when he was charged to court, and the Federal High Court said, oh, this case is bailable. They charged him 20 million bail and all of that, and he was supposed to be taken by the Nigerian Correctional Center Services. the DSS went and in fact, look at how they dragged the prison officer. I think almost tore his shirt. And I was just concerned. You remember when we were talking about the insecurity of Nigeria as a whole, we talked about that synergy between our security agencies. If there's no synergy, then you're giving room for the enemy to actually have a swell time. Insecurity for over a decade now is waxing stronger and stronger in this country. Why? Because of lack of synergy. And no wonder Nigerians said, oh, the appointment of these security chiefs, there were a lot of agendas that were set for them. The issue of synergy working together was one that Nigerians continue to call on. Look at the issue in the South. Is this sit at home? How can you end it when you're seeing that the security structure apparatus are fighting themselves? What is the law saying? What is obtainable? In fact, a lot of people have come out to condemn the action by DSS. I was listening earlier on how that the DSS were saying, oh, we are going to investigate what actually happened. NBA condemning. I said it was a sad day for the judiciary of this nation, because think about a nation that is ruled by rule of law, a democratic nation passing on judgment, yet like a security, a section of the government, like kicking against that, saying, oh, we have an order from above. Who is the above? These are things that we need to fight. If we don't fight impunity as a nation, we'll continue of this cycle of protests. It was in 2020 we had the EndSARS protest. Why? Because of police brutality. So it's almost looking like some of the structure of our security are feeling above the law. So we can just make the law, but we cannot live. We are supposed to help in maintaining the law, but we are above the law. No wonder when you are on traffic, you see them just pass, disregarding the whole thing. More like there is just one emergency, but there is actually nothing in the true sense of the word. So can we have a nation where the right thing can be done? Can we all join our hands together and fight impunity? I like the fact that the action, single action of DSS was actually condemned. But beyond condemning, I think the government needs to take action on that, because if we let that go away, there where lies the hopes of Nigeria. You remember how we continue to say that the final hope of Nigerians is the court, is the judiciary. And if we see this happening and they are made to go away with it, then where lies the hope of the common man? Look at the issue of the election, presidential tribunal. It has been on, and then people are just saying, oh, our hope is on the judiciary to do the right thing and all of that. If we have people that think they are above the law, then at the end of the day, there's no hope for the common man. So the issue of this seat at home is something that the government needs to be really serious about it, because at the end of the day, like I always maintain, is the common man that is being affected. Look at the person that has died right now. This protest was supposed to be peaceful, but it turned violence, and it has led to the death of one person just when the police went to dispatch the protesters. So we don't have to get to that point before we come up with reactive measures. How can we address the issue from the root? What caused it in the first place? How can this be brought to an end? Like it was the Vice President Shettima that was talking about insecurity, ending insurgency and all of that. That said, see, the root cause, beyond having just the military intervening, there are some root cause to some of these problems that need to be addressed. One of which is poverty. Because these people have gone, some of these people are not giving an excuse for any act, any foolish act or killing or joining any gangsterism or all of that.
Crime.
But or joining crime. But think about it, that people went to school, they are skilled, they have everything that is needed, and then you tell them that age is a factor. You can't get it because you are aged. Your age have passed the employment stage after keeping the person at home for months because of strike and all of that. But I think we need to do the needful, especially in terms of addressing the root cause. Like, every Nigerian have the right to life, and when we start seeing counting death of people, that means we are infringing on people's fundamental rights of life. And this is to also call people that when you are out to protest, let it be peaceful. If it's a peaceful protest, then you should not be in possession of arms. Because it's, of course, even though the government is saying with some few talks that took over the protest and it turned violent, we always give, if we know that at each point where people go out to protest, some individual take advantage of it, can we avert that situation by doing the needful ahead of time, by addressing the root cause, so that we don't end up having protests, some talks taking over, and then innocent people go down. Now, this person might have family, and their family will definitely have family, and now they are mourning. This person is possibly the breadwinner. Where lies the fate of the family members? The root cause should always be addressed.
Well, NLC up again, giving 1 week ultimatum to federal government that they should reverse the pump price. Do you think it's possible?
Well, the issue of reversal, I think the removal of fuel subsidy is not something that is just new internationally. It's something that is obtainable everywhere. There are so many countries that have removed the subsidy, and then there are people that are actually leaving. Why? Because they have actually deregulated the system. They have subsidized other sectors, or they have improved other sectors that have helped in cushioning the effect in that area. So the conversation like now is not really about the removal or reversal, but how can life be better and improved for Nigerians? You will recall that even before the 2023 election, presidential elections, the three candidates of the LP, PDP and APC said they were going to remove subsidy, reason being that, other sectors are actually suffering. While this sector that is being subsidized, Nigerians are not really enjoying the subsidy, because it's more like other West African countries are the ones enjoying. We've seen cases where people smuggle crude oil, and then all of that. We have refineries, we are not producing nothing, and a lot of reasons have been attached to it. So if other sectors need to be improved, then the subsidy has to be removed, because chunk of our money goes into fuel subsidy removal. But like I always say, if you don't address the root cause of the issue, then you keep going on the same circle. What about the people that have been smuggling? What have we done to them in terms of recovering the funds? And then from what we have saved, what have we been able to do with it? We're talking about palliative. We're talking about cushioning the effect of the fuel subsidy removal. You recall that I said even the word palliative is not a friendly word, because this is what is used for people that have terminal disease, which at the end of the day hardly make it because of the pain that they are going through. So the best thing that the government do is that you provide palliative for such people. So what are we doing? That means we all agree that Nigerians are in pain. Nigerians are suffering, like the times are hard, and that is why we're talking about palliative to cushion the effect. But over 2 months since the removal of fuel subsidy, what have been put in place as you and I speak to cushion the effect? Nothing. It has always been conversation, meetings upon meetings. It was immediately after the removal that we saw how the TUC, NLC reacted, saying you cannot just take decision without consulting. What happens to our workers? What about people that board transport? What happens to them? You've not put any measures in place. You just took decisions like that, and they threatened nationwide strike. Immediately, we saw how that the federal government went to industrial court, and that strike, they were stopped from going to the strike, and they went back to the table to discuss. They gave them demands, and federal government divided the demands: short time, mid time, and long time, hoping, we were thinking that immediately we'll see that in actions. Nigerians will feel it, but sadly, we were told that, we have 8 more weeks. Nigerians should please bear the pain. Nigerians should bear the baby step, that things were going to turn out better. NLC, TUC came out to tell us, some subcommittees have been formed to look into some of these demand, like the CNG, they need professionals and all of that. So all of these subcommittees are going to come up with report on how this palliative, how these measures are going to be taken or followed. But 8 weeks after, or before the 8 weeks elapsed, we saw how that the federal government went ahead with other decisions. And it is because of that that the NLC felt, within the 2 months, while we are still discussing of cushioning the effect, there was another hike again on the price of petrol, and that generated reactions again. We've seen how CSOs in the south were protesting in Kano. Other state Nigerians reacted. Like, why are we making life difficult for the people? It was out of the 819 billion supplementary budget of 2022 that we saw 70 billion was allocated for the National Assembly. And then Nigerians were supposed to get 8,000. We're talking about 12 million families. And then we're supposed to get 8,000 per month. In 6 months, 48,000. What can that do with the current economic reality? And that was why we say, see, our leaders need to have understanding of the times that we are in. Just like the sons of Issachar. We are not against them having a better life, but at the detriment of millions of Nigerians that are languishing in poverty. Why can't you decide to say, this 70 billion should be shared to all our constituency to improve life for them, instead of we having it? Seems like most of these leaders, the petrol they have, the fueling of their cars being done by the government, and we are being asked to share 70 billion. No, we are not. Since leadership is about service, we are giving it to Nigerians. But that's not the case. I'm sure that as we speak, that is already a done deal. That money has been shared already. But the issue of palliative, cushioning the effect for Nigerians is something that has been debated since over 2 months right now. NLC is now coming out to say that since the federal government has disregarded the committees and the meeting, they are also giving them 7 days ultimatum. They are going on strike. Must you announce? This is just like the case of this insecurity, where you hear our security personnel, you hear federal government announcing, we have now 2 Tucano aircraft. We are board. We are going to fight these people. You think they don't watch news or they are not? That is just like you preparing them for the war that is coming before them. Why not take them unaware? That's the only way you get result. Now we're hearing NLC, and let me tell you something. NLC is not fighting for you and I. NLC is fighting for its union, and which myself and you are not part of. If they are fighting for 200,000 minimum wage, they are not fighting for you and I. They are fighting for. So can we separate policies and politics? Can we have synergy between policy formation and policy implementation? Can we have a common goal, which is improving the nation, improving the welfare of the people? That is all Nigerians are asking. That can we have an environment that peace can actually thrive? Can we wake up, eat, and then sleep? Why are we always making life difficult for the people? We're talking about the same people that went under the sun without no security guard to go queue and then vote for you. Whether they voted for you or they don't vote, the primary responsibility you owe these people is for them to have a good life, improve their welfare, not to make life difficult for them. Sambo Solomon, people are in pain. People are suffering. People are struggling to pay bills. And yet they have leaders, they have representatives, they have a government. This is not what governance is all about. Governance is not about dictatorship. Governance is not about wickedness. Governance is not all about evil. Governance is not about making life difficult for the people, but improving the welfare of the people. I've had people say, can we give them some more time? How long would you give government? Do you know that on a daily basis, people die of hunger? Do you have an idea how many people cannot afford hospital bill? Do you know how many people trek on a daily basis to work? How do you expect productivity from people that are in pain? Somebody that his mind is divided, is thinking about how can my children feed? How can I pay school fees? How can I pay house rent? And you expect productivity from that person. I think our government, our leaders need to be up and about, especially in standing up to their primary responsibility. Can the poor breathe? This is the question. Can the poor breathe? Every day you wake up to policies that are just hard. Policies that are choking to the common man. Most of this, like I said now, the line is, the division now is just the poor. We don't have the classes, it's just the rich and the poor. So we don't have anything like middle class. Can the poor breathe? Can you come up with policies that the methodologies is not going to inflict pain on the people? I've had people say, oh, there's no growth, there's no development without pain. I agree to that. Can you go through the pain and then decide that let the people at least have it soft? Well, I look forward to a time that Nigerians will wake up and they are happy about policies that government are making, not on paper, not on speech, but in reality and in feeling of the impact of that policy. Action is what Nigerians are waiting for, not, oh, we have removed subsidies for our own good rule, enjoy rule. It's now that they want to feel the impact.
Well, like you rightly said earlier, it is very important for us as masses to speak truth to the power, you know, that let them sit up. I think it's very important. Let them sit up and let their aides really tell them the truth.
And Solomon, you know what what we are going through is because people are not saying the truth. People are not saying the truth because they want their superiors to feel good about what they are doing, and that is why we just had recently how that the spokesperson of the presidency talking about Dele Alaki coming out to say that, oh, the federal government is unaware of increase in tuition fee. Federal government institution is not, you know how that Nigerians we've seen different lists of hike in tuition fees and all of that, how people were lamenting, even with the hardship that they are going through now, we're increasing tuition fee and all of that. And the spokesperson came out to say, oh, we are even unaware of that. The President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is determined to ensuring that every Nigerian have access to education, like without struggling and all of that. yes, we know that always in our breakdown of the fee or charges you often pay in this institution, you see where tuition fee or school fees is clearly stated that it is free. But you see other charges that comes with it that accumulate to what Nigerians refer to as school fees, because it's the charges they pay in the school. So that's why they refer to it as school fees. And you won't blame them for saying there's increase. Is there increase? Yes.
Yes.
Is it in tuition fee? No. Is it what they will pay in school? Yes. And then the federal government say, oh, the increase is just tuition fee. The increase is not in tuition fee, but accommodation, laboratory, and other access or other facilities.
That means
and
they are aware.
So they are aware. They're actually aware of the increase. In fact, somebody told me that he was paying 45,000, but currently what he has to pay as charges is 100,000, some 200,000. Can the poor breathe? Again, I'm asking. Oh, you're not aware of tuition fee, but now you're aware that there's increment in charges of federal institution. If for federal institution you're going to be paying from 100,000 above, then where is the fate of the common man? How many people can afford private university? This we're talking about these public universities or institution. Think about it. If the prices is ranging from 100 and above, how can the common man afford it in his country where minimum wage of 30,000 is yet to be implemented in some states? In a country where already as we speak fuel per liter is above 600 naira. How can the common man survive all of these? We thought that with the removal sectors like education, health and others are going to be subsidized so that people can have access to education and all of that. But what we see every day is you're waking up to new policies, new increments and all of that. Gangsterism is what we don't pray and don't wish for, like what we saw the display in the courts. But we don't have to wait for protest before we act on issues. Do the right thing, because most times when there are protests, it doesn't end well. It almost leads to loss of lives and properties and all of that. But let's see government that are going to be truly concerned about the welfare of its citizens and making life easy, not difficult for them.
Thank you, Joyce, for doing this with me.
Always
Time is really against us, and this is how this is the much we can take for Nigeria Now today. We hope that you will join us tomorrow, same station, same time. God bless you.